Hello?
Why are you a liberal?
Oh, I'm also a social democrat.
I guess that's the same thing, sure, okay.
What is that not
Why?
the same thing? Oh wait, those are two different parties some places. That's true. Why am I why are you?
Like, why? What the fuck is social democrat? What the fuck is a social democracy good for, right?
It's good for bringing down income inequality, good for bringing down wealth inequality, good for bringing up wealth mobility, it's good for bringing down poverty, it's good for bringing up people's standards of living, their life expectancies,
Well, I don't know this.
infant mortality rates, all of these things all get better with social democracy.
I, what I've seen is that the freer the markets, the better the people, okay?
And here's a really interesting chart. We have a list of the countries that have the most economic freedom around the world and the ones with the least economic freedom around the world. Hong Kong from then and now, and Cuba from then and now. Here's some actual statistics, right? Where you have the income level of the poorest 10% around the world. The dark green bar there are the most economically free countries. It's so apparent. The more economically free a country is, the higher the income level of the poorest 10% of that country. Again, per capita income and adult literacy, the life expectancy, unemployment, right? The lower the rate of infant mortality, child labor.
I don't think that this is true. If you look at Sweden, for example, their GDP per capita compared to other countries, when in the free market era, it's like this, okay? Then in welfare state era, it's like this, okay? 1970, that's when it went down, okay?
Why do key social democratic policies seem to target, with the target indicators that they lay out, achieve them?
Sorry, can you speak up a little bit louder?
Why do targeted social democratic policies have markers that they look for a successful policy and meet those markers?
Well, you can do those things in the short term, right? But if you're constantly
What
draining
about
the
like
wealth,
50
you know,
years?
it gets fucked up eventually, right?
What about over like 50 years?
50 years. I mean, it depends on how much shit you're doing, right? It depends how much redistribution you're gonna do, right?
It doesn't necessarily just have to be redistribution, it just could be just like services afforded to the citizen.
Okay, but I think that pretty much all services are better done by capitalists, no?
Healthcare.
We used to have like, okay, these networks of fucking mutual aid fraternal societies that took care of everyone, and even the lowest paid worker could afford top quality healthcare. Okay, but then a bunch of doctors lobbied for this shit to be abolished and government to mandate mandatory health insurance that's by the state, and then all these things disappeared because people couldn't, the poorest people couldn't afford to pay for both.
Mandatory insurance policies because some people will buckle to having a state-funded option. That's what the US is going through right now. They've had the last like 12 years of
the most fucking
the US's
socialist
existence.
healthcare system ever. Okay, they used to have like what was it, 100,
What?
200 doctors per 10,000 citizens. Now it's like 50 doctors, and it was because of the all of the fucking licensing laws. It was because all of the fucking abolishment of competition, barriers to entry, fucking protectionism, fucking
they have an exclusively sizable, predominantly private capital market in the healthcare industry in the United States of America. It is absolutely unbelievable to say that their system would be socialist when compared to places like Sweden, when compared to places like the UK, when compared to places like Germany, where these places have fully funded state plans like
okay, but look,
healthcare services
if you have
compared to funding private insurance plans as they're the same thing, or even one is more socialist than the other being private.
Okay, look, if you have a fucking Ferrari, okay, you can leave it alone to ride around on the road. It's fine, it works, okay. But if you take it and fucking drop it onto a fucking erupting volcano, it's just gonna burn out, okay? That's fucking capitalism. You can fucking drop a free market into this fucking system that US created over 200 years of fucking up everything with fucking.
Yeah, I'm not a socialist. I do recognize that there are some industries that capitalism really thrives in really easily. So food distribution is really easy under capitalism. It's very cheap to do. If I want an apple from
well, what do you mean?
Get apples from.
Everyone needs food to live. I mean, we should assure that everyone gets it. What if someone can't buy food? We should have like
but we don't need
to
to
give people food for free.
Yeah. If that was the case that people were struggling to get food, to be able to obtain a country, for them to be able to obtain food with trade, it's easy. Really simple under capitalism. Now, the distribution of that food to the rest of the citizens, so like through a currency system to be able to actually afford it, that's a different question. Capitalism can move those food goods around really effectively. Applause to capitalism. Can't really do well on how it distributes that food locally. As in the same way, I can applaud capitalism in some regards and say it needs to improve in these regards.
Okay, can you? Sorry, I didn't really understand. Can you clarify a bit on that part that it doesn't distribute things locally? I mean, to me, it seems that capitalism makes it so pretty much everyone can afford everything when you allow it to work properly in a fair environment.
So capitalism doesn't have anything to do with currency, right?
What?
Capitalism doesn't necessarily have anything to do with currency, right?
Well, I don't know what that means. I mean, you could have a capitalism with, state controlled currency, which could fuck shit up in its own way, but you could also have, like, people use shit like
Sure,
bitcoins
but
and whatever.
Capitalism doesn't necessitate a currency to be distributed, right? So you could necessarily just trade a chicken for 16 eggs. That wouldn't be any currency involved. You just trade. That'd be fine. That'd be capitalism. So the way that the currency system is distributed, which is like how do I explain that? That's like a piggyback of capitalism attempt of, right? Use a currency as a mediator to trade things. The state gets involved in capitalism necessarily.
Okay, sure, yeah. But even still, I'd prefer
You're gonna expect capitalism to make things cheaper.
Private entities, but okay, yeah.
No, but it's okay. Well, you can do food, but healthcare is a different example.
Okay, but I don't see
One
why.
that's completely different.
Just don't understand why. It's just,
Compare full private systems with full public systems. It's really simple.
But we don't have anything to look at like this.
You can have majority public systems like the US. You can do majority private systems like the US and majority public systems like the UK. Or Germany, or Sweden, I think, or Norway, I think.
Okay.
The per person cost of healthcare in majority private industries like the US is like twice of the next country.
Okay, that's fine, it's... Well, how are you looking at this data, right? The US is much bigger than other countries. I don't know what.
So we take the raw cost of an insurance plan in the US on average per person, so the ones that people have. You can take the average tax cost of publicly run systems, and you'll find that it's way less for publicly funded ones compared to privately funded ones.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, America spent much more per capita on healthcare than any other country. That's absolutely true. That's factual. That's empirical. That's fine. But I don't
That's
like
a
the American
predominantly
system.
private market. That's a predominantly private market for
You
healthcare.
can say predominantly private, but it's all state-backed cartels. It's fucking scam.
There are 12 states with Medicare and Medicaid, right? Which are state they're government run on a state level to some individual states for really old people or really poor people, like really poor people, should I say? So it doesn't take that compared to the private systems in those areas. They take way more. They take way more. Well, they have way more pass through. I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, it's a fucking state-backed monopoly. People can't even see prices in a how the fuck can you call it a market if there's nothing to buy or sell? It's literally just these mediators that are state-backed
A market being available.
Right?
A market being available doesn't necessarily mean that it's open with no restrictions.
Sorry,
There are conditions to every trade.
Yeah.
If you put, it sounds like you're essentially saying any condition put on a trade like that in any regard is.
I mean, if you force collective bargaining for any service, it's no longer free market. There's a bunch of examples in countries in areas in the United States like where it. Oh, sorry, did you freeze? Oh fuck. God damn it! I was really enjoying this one.